What's up, Russell Scope family? Before we dive into today's explosive story, I need you to do me a favor, and trust me, after what you're about to hear, you're going to want to share this video. Hit that like button right now, because what I'm about to reveal will make your jaw drop to the floor. Now, I want you to imagine this. You're walking to your car after a long day. The parking lot is dimly lit. You hear footsteps behind you. You turn around and suddenly an SUV comes roaring towards you at full speed, headlights blazing like the eyes of a demon, engines screaming with murderous intent. You have 1 second to decide. Do you run? Do you jump? Do you accept your fate? That's exactly what Drew McIntyre faced. And the man behind the wheel, none other than the American nightmare, CODY RHODES. And here's what's going to make your blood boil. The WWE brass, the so-called authority figures, the people who are supposed to protect these superstars, they're treating this like it's just another Monday Night Raw storyline. Let me ask you something, and I want you to really think about this. If you tried to run over your coworker in the company parking lot, would you still have a job the next day? Would you be walking around free? Or would you be sitting in a jail cell explaining yourself to the police? But because this is CODY RHODES, the golden boy, the chosen one, the guy with the undisputed WWE championship around his waist, suddenly attempted vehicular assault is just passion, it's just intensity, it's just giving the fans what they want. I'm calling it right now. This is the biggest case of double standards in WWE history, and nobody, I mean nobody, is talking about it. The media is silent, the wrestling journalists are silent, even the fans are cheering this madness like it's some kind of heroic act. Well, not on this channel. We are going to break down everything, every twisted detail, every controversial angle, every shocking revelation about what really happened in that parking lot. And I guarantee by the end of this video, you're going to see CODY RHODES in a completely different light. So let's rewind and talk about what actually went down, because the way WWE is spinning this story is absolutely insane. It was supposed to be a normal night. SmackDown had just wrapped up. Superstars were heading to their rental cars, probably thinking about their next city, their next match, maybe what they're going to grab for dinner. Drew McIntyre, the Scottish Warrior, a man who's battled everyone from Brock Lesnar to Roman Reigns, was walking through the arena parking lot minding his own business. And then, the sound of screeching tires. According to multiple eyewitness reports, and yes, we have witnesses to this absolute chaos, a black SUV came tearing through the parking lot at an estimated 40 to 50 miles per hour. Not 10, not 15, 40 to 50 miles per hour in a confined parking structure where the speed limit is probably 5. The vehicle was aimed directly at Drew McIntyre like a missile locked onto its target. And behind the wheel, CODY RHODES, with what witnesses described as a look of pure rage on his face. His knuckles were white from gripping the steering wheel, his eyes were locked on target. This wasn't a man trying to scare someone, this was a man trying to eliminate someone. Drew, to his credit, and this is why he's called the Scottish Warrior, didn't freeze. At the last possible second, he dove between two parked cars. The SUV slammed into a concrete pillar with such force that the entire parking structure shook. Security footage, which WWE has conveniently refused to release to the public, by the way, allegedly shows sparks flying, the sound of crunching metal, and debris scattering across the parking lot. Drew McIntyre nearly died that night. Let that sink in. Not got injured, not got hurt, nearly died because CODY RHODES turned a parking lot into his personal demolition derby. And here's where it gets even more twisted. CODY apparently got out of that damaged vehicle, looked at the destruction he caused, looked at Drew, who was on the ground trying to process what just happened, and he smiled. He smiled, folks. Then he just walked away like he'd just finished a successful promo segment. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but there must be a reason, there must be history here, and you're absolutely right, there is history. But does that history justify attempted murder? Let me walk you through this, and you tell me if this makes sense. The tension between CODY RHODES and Drew McIntyre has been building for months. It started, as many of these feuds do, with subtle jobs. Drew McIntyre began questioning whether CODY truly deserved to be the face of WWE. He started pointing out, and let's be honest, he had some valid points, that CODY got opportunity after opportunity while other deserving superstars were left in catering. Drew brought up how he had to claw his way back to relevance after being released by WWE. He talked about reinventing himself on the independent scene, becoming a legitimate main eventer in Impact Wrestling, and earning his way back to WWE, where he became WWE champion during the pandemic era with 0 fans in attendance. No pops, no reactions, just pure isolated excellence. Meanwhile, Cody, who also left WWE and found success elsewhere, came back to a hero's welcome, an immediate main event push, and a guaranteed WrestleMania moment. Drew's argument was simple. Why does Cody get the red carpet while everyone else gets the parking lot? The war of words escalated. Cody fired back, saying Drew was jealous, bitter, and stuck in the past. He claimed that Drew's problem wasn't with him, it was with Drew's own inability to connect with the audience the way Cody does. That's when things got personal. Drew attacked Cody's family legacy. He brought up Dusty Rhodes, Cody's legendary father, and suggested that Cody was riding his father's coattails. He said Cody wasn't the American dream, he was the American nepotism. That comment crossed a line that should never be crossed in wrestling. Cody, usually calm and calculated, snapped. The next Raw on Raw, he confronted Drew in the ring, in which should have been a verbal confrontation turned physical. They brawled through the arena, through backstage, and security had to pull them apart. WWE officials thought they had it under control. They were wrong. The following week, Drew cost Cody a match by interfering. The week after that, Cody returned the favor. It became an endless cycle of revenge, chair shots, blindside attacks, interfering in each other's matches. Every week the violence escalated. Every week WWE officials said, "We're handling it." But they weren't handling it. They were encouraging it. They saw the ratings spike. They saw the social media engagement. They saw dollar signs, and they let two grown men spiral into absolute chaos without any real consequences. And that brings us to the parking lot incident, the inevitable conclusion of WWE's negligence and Cody Rhodes' unchecked aggression. So, what happened after Cody Rhodes literally tried to commit vehicular homicide in front of multiple witnesses? You'd think there would be arrests, right? Police involvement? Maybe, I don't know, some kind of consequence? Wrong. Dead wrong. Within 24 hours, WWE released a statement. Want to know what it said? Let me read this to you word for word because you're not going to believe this. Quote, WWE is aware of the incident that occurred in the parking lot area following SmackDown. The matter is being reviewed internally and appropriate actions will be taken. Both superstars are passionate competitors and emotions ran high. We ask fans to continue supporting WWE programming. End quote. Emotions ran high? Passionate competitors? Are you kidding me right now? This wasn't a heated argument. This wasn't even a fist fight. This was one human being using a 2-ton vehicle as a weapon against another human being. And WWE's response is essentially, boys will be boys, keep watching our shows. Let me tell you what should have happened. Cody Rhodes should have been immediately suspended without pay pending a full investigation. Law enforcement should have been contacted. Drew McIntyre should have been given the option to press charges. There should have been real consequences. But instead, guess what happened? The very next week on SmackDown, Cody Rhodes walked out to his entrance music, title over his shoulder, smiling at the crowd like nothing happened. The announcers briefly mentioned the incident, but quickly moved on to hype up his upcoming championship defense. And Drew McIntyre? He cut a promo later that night saying that Cody's actions only proved his point, that Cody is a privileged golden boy who can do whatever he wants without consequences. And you know what? Drew was absolutely right. The WWE Universe was split down the middle. Half of the fans were chanting, "Let's go Cody," while the other half were booing him out of the building. Social media exploded with debates. Hashtag Cody Rhodes and hashtag Drew McIntyre were trending worldwide for 3 straight days. But here's the thing that bothers me most, and I want you to really hear this. WWE is profiting from this chaos. They're selling t-shirts with slogans referencing the incident. They're using the parking lot footage in video packages. They're treating attempted vehicular assault as a marketing opportunity. The double standard debate. This brings me to the point that's been eating at me since this whole situation exploded, the massive double standard and how WWE treats its top stars versus everyone else. Let's do a little experiment, shall we? Let's look at WWE history and see how similar situations were handled. Remember when Steve Austin ran over Brian Pillman's ankle with a car? That was treated as one of the most heinous acts in WWE history. Austin is portrayed as an absolute villain for it. There were consequences, there was outrage, there was weight to that action. Remember when Kane set Jim Ross on fire? When Triple H attacked Shawn Michaels with a sledgehammer? When Randy Orton punted Vince McMahon in the head? Every single one of these actions had massive repercussions. The perpetrators were suspended, fined, or fired, at least in storyline. There was acknowledgement that these actions were wrong. But now, in 2026, when the face of the company, the WWE champion, the guy who's supposed to represent everything good about professional wrestling, tries to murder another superstar, it's just Tuesday? And let's talk about the performers who have faced real consequences for less severe actions. Superstars have been released for unprofessional conduct on social media. Wrestlers have been suspended for getting into verbal altercations backstage. Fines have been contacted for missing media appearances. Performers have lost championship opportunities for being late to events. But attempted vehicular homicide? Emotions on high, folks. Nothing to see here. The message WWE is sending is crystal clear. If you're Cody Rhodes, if you're a top draw, if you're making the company millions of dollars, you can do whatever you want. The rules don't apply to you. You're untouchable. And before anyone says, it's just a storyline, let me stop you right there. Yes, we all know wrestling has predetermined outcomes. We all know storylines are scripted. That when you blur the line between storyline and reality to this extent, when you're essentially telling fans that attempted murder is acceptable as long as it gets ratings, you're sending a dangerous message. What happens when a young fan, someone who idolizes Cody Rhodes, thinks it's okay to resolve conflicts with violence because their hero did it and faced zero consequences? What happens when the line between entertainment and reality becomes so blurred that people can't tell the difference anymore? Now let's talk about the victim in all of this, because yes, Drew McIntyre is the victim here, no matter how WWE tries to spin it. In an exclusive interview that Drew did with a Wrestling Podcast, because WWE wouldn't let him address this properly on their programming, he opened up about what he was feeling in that moment. And folks, this was raw emotion. This was real. Drew said, "I've been in this business for over 20 years. I've taken chair shots, I've been thrown through tables, I've bled, I've broken bones. I've sacrificed my body for this industry. But in all that time, I never thought I'd have to worry about a fellow professional trying to actually